Okay, this section of the training has to do with shapes and just some basic locomotor skills and maybe a couple new things for you. This week, because it's safety week, in your circuit is a station which is for safety fall. And one of the kind of fun things that you say to them is, when you fall, become a ball. So they stand at the top of the hill, and then they just grab themselves really tight, and then just roll down kind of randomly. It's not on purpose like a forward roll or even a log roll. It's just kind of more like getting used to just falling down and getting those arms in. Another basics: straight shape, tuck shape, straddle, pike, star, etc. Those are repetitive things you want to do over and over and over in your warm-ups. Play games with it, anything you can think of. You know, run, freeze, and then do a shape. And in your parent and tots, again, having the parents help them physically, like sculpting them, putting them in the shape. The puppy shape is a little interesting, because the puppy shape should actually be with a flat back. We want the puppy shape to look like that. And I'll just show a picture of it real close with a flat back. That will translate later onto puppy bounces on the trampoline. What you'll find is that kids will do it with their knees real close to their hands,
and then land on their feet
with a sloped back, which is the top picture right there. And that's kind of fun for them, but what that position does is cause them to actually dive forward when they go into the tummy shape, because it's seat puppy tummy, right?
Yeah.
So unless their back is flat, they can't really open up to the tummy shape. So just in these younger kids, just keep encouraging that the knees are far from the hands, and that will help them progress toward a good seat puppy tummy. Because you'll see right now, you probably see a lot of them go seat, puppy, and then they dive forward.
And then they face plant.
And they face plant, and it's not good for their low back. Mountains and trees. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is, if you can just maybe, I don't know if this will show me over here.
Yeah, you're good.
Is that going to show me if I go over here far enough?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the mountain shape. Star hands, looking at your feet, so the head gets in the correct position. And now if they can hold this, that's great. If they can hold it and you feel like they can stand on one foot, they put a tree up on their mountain. And then they take a turn with the other leg becoming the tree. Starts to shift the weight onto the shoulders. It's a fun game they play. And when they lift the leg up, what I usually do is touch the top of their foot, so they get a sense of where that leg is up in the air. They can't see it, they have to just kind of know that it's up there. That's called proprioception. Knowing where your body is, or a part of your body is, without seeing it, which is so important in all sports, right? So mountains and trees is a fun game. You're going to see it in the lesson plan this week. Parent and tots can do it as well. Again, star hands and looking at the feet. And you can have that for fun. Okay. Next would be...
So then, what is this, rock?
That's rocks.
What would I like show this for? What would I use this for?
Okay, so it's a game, and we can skip to that right now. If you go to...
Oh, or if it's woven in here somewhere.
It is woven in here.
Yeah. Well, that's fine. We'll get to it.
Mountains and trees. Table crab walks, and this is a fun one to do. I'd say for parent and taught, it would be maybe less structured, but for your 3- and 4-year-olds and even 5-year-olds, you can definitely have a fun game with this. It's called the table meeting. And the table meeting goes like this. Put myself over here again. We're all sitting in a circle. All sitting in a circle, and we all turn into a table, which you know that one already, right?
Yes.
And then we all, with star hands, we all walk forward into the center because it's time for our meeting. So again, it's making them shift their weight and support themselves. And then they put their favorite cookie or jello or pudding or whatever on their table. wherever you want. And then they eat it. Other hand, they eat it. That was good. Okay, meeting's over. Time to go back. So they walk out of the circle, and then they wave goodbye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, wave to everybody. So again, they're supporting themselves. You see a lot of kids that just can't. Their bottom goes down. So playing that game over and over will help them start supporting themselves in a comfortable, easy little game with fun, fun imagery in it. Yeah, it's a fun game. And you keep doing that with mountains and trees. And now they're supporting their weight in this position, in handstand position, and they're starting to support their weight in a backwards position, which eventually translate to the bridge.
Okay.
It's a little bit of a jump, but it will help them. Are we still both in the picture? Crazy. Okay, table meeting. The butterfly song, butterfly position where they sit with the bottoms of their feet together? Yeah. We'll refer to that later when we go to the sing-song group of little fun things you can say with them. Lazy lion is on the beam, tummy round off, baby round off. We'll do that out in the gym.
Okay.
Help me remember to come back to that. Tummy round off. You'll like that one. It's a fun little game for them to play, and it makes the dismount. It's a kinder dismount. And it's very safe. They feel very secure because their tummy is right on the beam, and then they just swing their legs around and off. Around off. Passe. We used to call them flamingo walks, which I might start doing because it's a little bit more of a fun image. And I have a picture of a flamingo with one leg up, and then it just is a little more funsies than saying passe, which
most kinder kids can't really.
Yeah. Passe means pass, by the way, in French. You pass your foot up to your knee. Arabesque, I don't know what that means, but it's also kind of a French word, I believe, coming out of the ballet realm. Okay, next let's go to locomotor. Locomotor skills. So we want to differentiate between jumping and hopping. Jumping is 2 feet leaving the floor. Hopping is 1 foot leaving the floor. So given that we're wanting to teach them to skip eventually, once they learn the difference between jumping and hopping, changing, okay? And that's hard for a kinder kid. But once they can start to get the leg strength to hop on one leg than the other, then if you start to move with that hopping action, it will eventually turn into a skip. So they would go hop, change, 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 change. Then it turns into a skip. And a lot of times what I'll do, put your feet out here. Let me see if I can get your feet in the video.
Do you want me to like stand up?
No, I want, yeah, right there. So what I'll do, just for fun, I'll say, this is what a skip feels like. Hop, 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 hop. A little rhythm to it. And they'll eventually, feel that in their feet. Parent tots can do this too. Because even though a little tot is quite a ways from skipping, already it's starting to go into their muscle memory and into their little psyches what a skip feels like. And later when I teach you some on the back, it's a kind of like kid on the back games, I don't know what to call it, but the parents can add that in, and the parents will love it if you're coaching them to coach their kid, because that's what parent-taught is. You've got 2 sets of students, parents and tots. Okay.
We might have to turn it a little more.
Yep, I sure will. Sorry about this if you're watching. It's not the most high-tech video session here. Okay, next page, and we're running out of time. Gallops is just a chasing skill. It relates with chasse, which means chase in French. The back foot chases the front. And so what you'll find is, and I'm not going to turn that thing right now, but you find that instead of this foot just chasing the foot, they'll bring it out in front like this. So you want to make sure they know it's chasing and pushing that other foot out of the way.
Oh, okay.
That's a good little verbal cue to give them.
Mm-hmm.
They might get it eventually. We talked about skips already. Sidestepping has to do with developing the lateral strength in the body. We're not a real lateral moving society. We move front and back. We don't move side to side too much. So you're going to be seeing in the lesson plans a lot more sidestepping on the beams. In this lesson plan, there's teeter-totters. What teeter-totters are just opening in a straddle and going like this, side to side. Starts to build up that lateral strength a little bit. Tiptoes. I call them high heels. And level ones, we do a lot more of this. I do it in almost all my level 1 classes constantly. They learn how to, this is just for your level 1 stuff. Feet together, lift their heels really high. Starts to get a good flexion in here, and the heels high. And then they learn to straighten up, get those heels high, which turns into a nice high heel position without going out on their baby toes. You want to watch for them going out like that, because you see what happens to my ankles. But you can call it tiptoes, high heels, heel walking. That's self-explanatory. Snail crawls are in the circuit this week between the cones. This is a pre-runner to donkey kicks. You know what donkey kicks are?
Yes.
And you can do donkey kicks forwards and backwards, which again, strengthening shoulders for handstands. So snail crawls with star hands, always star hands. Don't let them put their hands down lazy on the mat. Make them open those hands up. So snail crawls, we're just going to stay in here as long as possible for the sake of time.
Yeah.
I don't know if that can see me. But this is a snail crawl.
Yeah.
So they put their hands out in front and they drag their knees up.
Okay.
Hands in front, drag their knees up. And you can also do them backwards. So now they're getting that push back action, which down the line translates to a back handspring, believe it or not, and round offs and things like that. Pushing away, backwards. So snail crawls are fun, forwards and backwards. Parent and taught kids can do this. Because they're already crawling on their hands and knees. They do a lot of that. Now they just have the legs work together. I'm going to stay here so I don't keep moving the camera back and forth. Bear walks, I think you know what those are.
Yes.
You can also start to introduce bear walks with the legs going out to the side. Again, lateral strength. They do them like this, that's good too. But sometimes you're going to see them legs to the side. Donkey kicks. We do those, but we don't usually do them moving.
Yeah.
Usually put our hands down, we just jump like this. But we want to start getting them to move forwards and backwards in their donkey kick. Teeter-totters we talked about. In and out jumps are on the star sheet for Kinder. In and out. Out and in, whatever you want to say. And I noticed a lot of the Kinders I was teaching couldn't do it on trampoline. They always defaulted to the star jump. So they need to develop both abilities, both touching the trampoline out and in and the straddle jump. But you need to start working in and out jumps in your warm-ups. Okay, that's all for that section.